Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect, perfect. Whew. What's up? What's going on? Are you in Florida, Liz? Are you in DC?
I was there for a week last week, but now I'm back in Florida.
Cool, cool.
Back home. But it was great. It was a good trip.
Right on. Did you all watch the amazing political theater that was the debate last night?
Yeah.
That was fun.
I mean, I was so nervous for her. Like, I just
Yeah.
knew she had so much to do. So it was like amazing that she did as well as she did.
I mean, it's
It exceeded my wildest expectations.
yeah, it was it was a refreshing change of pace from the last debate. Let's put it that way. I didn't even make it to the like halfway point of the last debate. I had to turn that shit off. So
Terrible.
yeah. Yeah, I went to the Fight Club in oh, this is wild. I went to Fight Club, which is a sandwich joint that Buchert opened up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Old,
But is that even there anymore? Is Buchert gone? Or is
Buchert's still there.
Oh, it is. Okay. I walked
Yeah.
by it the other day and I couldn't tell.
So yeah, they were doing debate bingo. So I went, saw EK, ran into EK there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so with some drinks and watched that, which was fun. But anyways, when we were leaving, like everybody had left, we were the last people to leave. We're standing outside, and then right across the street is like a optometrist place. Like they sell glasses, they do eye exams and shit. I saw like a group of like 10 kids. I mean, they look like they were kids, maybe like early high school, late middle school. I just heard a loud crash and look over. They had like thrown shit through the glass, and then they were like climbing in, just stealing a bunch of shit and like running out. So I was like, do I call the cops? What I do? I'm like,
Yes.
I got to report it. So I called the cops. I reported it. Took them fucking 25 minutes for them to show up. I was like, guys, like what is happening? Like, I just
Oh no, those
yeah
owners are so nice. They've been there forever. That's
yeah.
so sad.
But one of the things that struck me was the question that the dispatcher asked was that did they look like juveniles? Which tells me that it is happening a lot. I mean, the data bears that out, but obviously they were like, yeah, did they look like juveniles? I was like, I mean, I can't tell from across the street and it was dark and they were all wearing black, cover head to toe.
Oh really? Like
Yeah,
masks still also?
yeah, yeah, all of it, like fully black, like everything was covered up. So
There
I
was a
can,
big. It happened a bunch of places last night at like a I forget which luxury brand store, like Dior. Was this like down at like Penn Quarter or something like that? I didn't hear the first part.
No, he was over by Eastern Market.
yeah, Eastern Market.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
but it was wild. I never actually witnessed like a full on like looting, like a riot looting like that. But yeah, it was wild.
Because supposedly that's because the body cam footage that was released of the cops. Did you see that in the paper?
Wait,
There
wait,
was some
what?
kind of the cops shot some guy and they released the body cam footage, and it was the guy who was a violence interrupter.
Oh,
on
that was like
BBC.
the day before, right? It just came out like 2 days ago or something, right?
Right. And so
Yeah, yeah.
the post is saying that there's been a lot of rioting and people pissed off about that, and that's might be what causing this state of unrest.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, but either way, yeah, it was a pretty wild thing to witness last night. So yeah, between the debate and that, it was a night full of activities. Let's put it that way. Anyways, let's get started. All right, everyone. Welcome to the second tasting of the Cali 3.0 month or box. We're tasting this guy. It's got this kind of like a gray, black and white label. 2022 Idlewild wines. The B Flora and Fauna White is what we're tasting today. If you think this label looks familiar, we've actually featured Idlewild. Their B Flora, Flora and Fauna Red must have been like 2 years ago, possibly even 3 years ago. It was one of the Thanksgiving lineup that I actually featured. I've always been a big fan of their wines. I think they're kind of underappreciated for what they're doing, but yeah, I've always been a big fan. So here we are. And it ties perfectly into kind of what we're talking about this month, and we'll get to in a second. But before we get into any of that, just an announcement. Case Club wraps up tomorrow. So if you are planning on participating in Case Club, put your orders in now. That's all the wines that we tasted last month. All the what did we taste last month? My brain's not working. What was last? What's that?
Wasn't it like Spain?
Was it
Exactly.
Spain?
No.
Northern
Oh,
It was Spain. Yeah, you're right. Basque box. Thank you.
Basque box.
Yeah.
What's next month's box?
So next 3 months, if I'm going to give preview. So next month is going to be, it's what I do every year, but it's going to be the Thanksgiving month. So we're going to taste all of them next month. So if you want to get them on Case Club for Thanksgiving, then they'll be ready to go in November. So these are all the wines that I'm excited to bring to the Thanksgiving table. I taste beautiful, like awesome cider from not Normandy, Brittany today. So yeah, it's super good. So anyway, so next month is gonna be all Thanksgiving wines. And then the month after is, fingers crossed, if everything goes to plan or how I want, I think it's gonna be a champagne box in preparation for the New Year's Eve. If it's gonna be all champagne, it's probably gonna be half bottles, because obviously I can't keep it under my budget with a whole full 750, 4 bottles of champagne. But at least there would be some champagnes and some champagne alternatives. It's essentially basically New Year's Eve, what sparklings should we drink? There's that. And then to wrap up the year, the last month, and I'm talking about forever, but I'm finally doing it, which is Georgia month. So we're gonna taste a bunch of amber, orange wines, and reds, all from the
Atlanta?
Levantine. So that's kind of the lineup. Thanksgiving, New Year's sparkles, hopefully full champagne box. But either way, it's sparkles, and then Georgia. We're gonna wrap it up with Georgia. So those are the 3 months lineup. As of right now, that's the feeler that I put out to all my reps. We'll see what wines are available and whatnot. But if everything goes to plan, that's what's gonna happen. So anyways, yeah, Kids Club wraps up tomorrow. So if you want to get your orders in, do it now. Last but not least, we're donating to DC Hunger Solutions this month. So if you want to check out what they do, and then donate alongside 641 Club, the link is right there in the chat box. I also, for those of you, some of you did not get it, some of you did get this email, or the residents of Bookland got this email, but I sent it out last week about doing this around the world party that we've been talking about, in-person thing in the fall. So if you have not gotten it, let me know. Go check it out. Check out that email. We'd love to pull that together. So let me know if you'd be interested in serving as a quote unquote destination, where you can let people come and eat some snacks and drink some paired wines, and then we'll all move around. It'd be kind of like the neighborhood wine crawl, essentially, between people's houses, this idea. So if you're interested in serving as one of those destinations, let me know, and then we'll get that all going. But besides that, I don't have any other announcements. Any questions? Any comments before we move into the wine? Cool. Let's start with, there you go. Here's a map of California. Right. For the most part, this month, we're really staying up here in the North Coast or in the Northern California region. You all know where California is. I don't need to show you where California is in the USA. But we're spending the entire month in California, but even within California, it's really what we're talking about is in the North Coast here. But moving away from Sonoma and Napa, we were in Mendocino last week, and we're in Mendocino again. So there are three. So the winery, the Idlewild winery, is actually between Geyserville and Healdsburg in Sonoma. So the winery itself, the wine is actually made in Sonoma. However, the fruit for this wine comes from 3 different vineyards, and 2 of them are in Mendocino. One is closer to Ukiah, which is up north, northern tip of Mendocino, and then the other one is in the southern southwestern part. This is Ukiah. I know the resolution is really bad here, but Ukiah is here, so up here. And then the other one is on the southwestern corner of Mendocino. So you got 2 different parcels of Mendocino. And then the final vineyard, La Cimas, is in Russian River Valley, which is the dead smack center of Sonoma. So we got kind of these kind of higher elevation, cooler, all the marine influence comes in. So Mendocino is where you kind of meet that Mediterranean, also inland, the Sacramento, the inland influence, very continental inside. This is very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter. Here it becomes a lot Mediterranean, which is mild summer, warm summer, but mild winter, very dry. And then all of that kind of converging and meeting in the middle is kind of where Mendocino happens. So you get kind of the best of the both worlds. You get the heat and all of that, of the kind of the continental part, but you also get the mild effects from the ocean. So the winter is not as cold. So yeah, that's where kind of why Mendocino makes sense in terms of growing great grapes. But so 2 vineyards on a high elevation sites in Mendocino, and then 1, that's where you get the acid and kind of the structure and the elegant kind of aromas. And then the Russian River Valley in the middle is where you get the kind of the flesh of the wine, that you get the kind of body and the ripeness and all of that. This is a Fox Hill Vineyards. It's one of the vineyards that they farm. Fox Hill is in the southeast of Ukiah, we're talking about. So in the northern variety, every single one of them is planted to Italian varieties. And then this is Las Cimas, which is a Russian River Valley. As you can see, this is a valley. There's a mountain in the back. It's a valley floor. This is where you get the more ripeness, more flesh, more kind of power. And then finally, Lost Hills Ranch Vineyard, which is in the southwestern part of the Mendocino County. So you got a lot of this kind of marine fog, the cooling effect that I was telling you about that comes in, kind of cools off the land, keeps the acidity and all of that. Yeah, I mentioned wineries in Sonoma between Geyserville and Healdsburg. And just like last week's winery and a lot of what young wineries and young winemakers are doing, which is that they work out of a cooperative winery. So Idlewild shares a winery and the facilities along with Leo Steen and Ruth Ledowski. For those of you who are familiar with some natural wine, those are pretty well-known names. Anyways, it is owned as the founder, and then the current winemaker is this guy, this ruggedly handsome dude, Sam Bilbro. He's the founder and the winemaker at Idlewild. He grew up with the wine. Walking Vineyards are some other pictures that I got, him just jumping in. He's very much hands-on. He farms as well as mixed wines. So he's touching the grape soil, and then he's also making the wine every day. So it's not just a hands-off kind of winery. He's in there actually doing it all. Yeah, handsome dude. But let's see. So he grew up with wine. His dad is actually along now that his brothers have taken over, or his older brother has taken over. He's the youngest out of the 3 brothers. He grew up with wine, walking vineyards, tasting blends, and hanging out in a winery converted from an old kind of cow barn from his dad. His dad, his name is Chris Bilbro, owns a Marietta Cellars, which is a Sonoma winery. Very kind of conventional, but correct. There's nothing wrong. I've had their wines before. Yeah, they're perfectly fine wines. But yeah, so he grew up with wine. Later, he worked in restaurants. He left the winery world, got into restaurants, and that's where he got exposed to wines from around the globe, not just the Sonoma County wines. And then he particularly was struck by the wines from Italy's Piedmont region, Piemonte region, because why wouldn't you? Because it's incredible wines. He started Idlewild Winery in 2012 as a kind of a side project while working for a local biodynamic winery. But then he quickly quit his job 2 years later and then focused on Idlewild full-time. And from the very get-go, because of his initial kind of a love with Piedmont wines, Idlewild's focus is twofold. So one is Piedmontese varieties as single varietal, as well as vineyard wines, focusing on typicity, energy, balance, all those things. And then the second aim of Idlewild is a Piedmontese or Piedmont-inspired blends that kind of balance joy and depth while complementing the food, and it's meant to be a very food-friendly wine. And today's wine, the Flora and Fauna White, kind of falls into the second territory. This is Piedmont-inspired white blend. We'll talk about what goes in there once we get to the winemaking portion. But this is very much in-house, in keeping with what Idlewild does. They specialize in Piedmont varieties grown in rugged hills of Mendocino. All made from organically farmed fruit on elevated hills of Mendocino County. He makes wines that I really enjoy drinking these days, which is, that kind of perfect balance between joy and depth. There's enough layers and complexity there. It keeps me coming back and just kind of, sipping on it and thinking about it, but also at the core of it is just a pure deliciousness and joy of drinking, which is what I like. Yeah, all of their wines, red, white, he makes rosés as well. He does not make sparkling, but all the wines I found them to be very fresh and focused. And he is kind of the perfect example of why I wanted to put this box together this month anyway. So Sam has also been kind of instrumental in the organization of what they call 7% Solution. These are a coalition of like-minded small North Coast producers that are dedicated to celebrating and encouraging the cultivation of varieties other than the other 93% of vineyards planted to the 8 mainstream grape varieties, which are Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Merlot, Syrah, Zinfandel, Petit Syrah, Sauvignon Blanc, and Chardonnay. So those 8 varieties make up 93% of the vineyards that are planted in California. So they're this group of people who are saying, they're all great, but what about the other 7? So these are the people who are really focused on it, and these are the kind of people that I really want to highlight this month, that California is not about those 8 varieties. So encouraging the diversification and progression in the New World wines. These wines kind of defy that divide, right? There's a huge, in the wine world, old world versus new world. Winemaking is different, wine style is different, but they really challenge that divide as well as embody the spirit behind what I'm calling California's third renaissance or revolution and the new California wines that John Bonet talks about in his book that came out about a year ago. That kind of old world archetype, right? This is very much of a Piedmont inspired blend, but that kind of unique California personalities and terroir thrown on it. When I taste it, like this wine is unmistakably New World, unmistakably California actually. But you see that influence and inspiration of the old world Piedmont all over it. The analogy that came to me when I was thinking about it was, like if you ever watch like Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious, like you see Richard Pryor's influence and inspiration all over it. But, it's his own style. Same thing with Dave Chappelle, right? Like you see that Richard Pryor's touch is all in there, but he's, obviously his own thing. And then that's kind of where I feel about this wine. that it is its own thing. It's got its own style and flair, but it is very clear what the inspiration comes from. And that's kind of the third wave of a California wine. What is this wine? So Piedmont inspired white blend, like I mentioned, is a majority Arnase. We've talked about this grape back when we had the Piedmont box. There's a little bit of Muscat Canele, Favorita, which is also a grape variety, the indigenous grape variety that we had a bottle of, varietal bottle during Piedmont box, Herbalus, and Cortese. So it's all Piedmont indigenous grape varieties, all grown organically in dry farmed, meaning there's no irrigation. They're just kind of grown on their own, and then picked early to preserve kind of natural acidity. They're all whole cluster pressed. So as soon as it comes in, they just go straight into the press and then pressed off. And then spontaneous fermentation in stainless steel tank. Then it's left on the lees in neutral oak for 4 months, just kind of round it out to build up complexity and some texture. And then goes through a full mallow, and then it's bottled with just a touch of sulfite. I couldn't verify whether this wine was filtered or fine. I doubt. Maybe it was filtered. It seems pretty clear to me, but I couldn't confirm one way or the other. So that's what we got. Any questions about anything I just went over before we taste the wine? And yes, Allison and Dave, I am talking about Georgia the country, not Georgia the state. All right, let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance? Come on.
We'll do it.
All right. Let's hear
Kyler just said we'll do it, but his glass.
I have
is
no
empty.
wine, so I'm going to look at Margaret's. I
it.
need to go refill. But yeah, I'll
Also, the light is off.
I'll just, well,
but
yeah,
that's
I'll
okay.
just let her do it.
This wine is clear.
This wine is clear. It's actually quite clear.
Yeah, kind of surprised. I always expect wines from you to not necessarily.
Yeah, that's fair. But you're right. This wine is definitely clear. Intensity?
Medium pale. Medium.
Yeah. Color?
Like lemon, but kind of verging on gold.
Yeah,
Like a little bit
that's
of
kind of
warm lemon.
totally with you. I call this like, that sometimes like medium lemon, pale gold, somewhere around there. Can't really, hard to pinpoint one or the other. But yeah, that's what I do see a little bit of gold fleck here. But it's not like super gold. So I'll probably put like pale gold if this is an example. But yeah. And that probably comes from that lees aging. There's probably some batonnage, which is starting with the lees that happened in the neutral barrel. So that adds to color. Any other observations?
No bubbles. Doesn't seem to be any deposit or anything.
Exactly.
Not
No
talking
deposits,
about
very clean. Go. You will get to pick the next person for the news.
You do it.
Oh, I get to pick the next person.
You did the appearance.
Well, we'll go with Liz because she's right below us.
This is true.
Oops, hi. Yeah, great, cool. Happy to do it. I've actually been wanting to do a nose to get back into tasting wine again. So this is clean.
Wine is clean.
I don't know. I sort of have to put my nose to the glass to smell it.
Yeah. I was just thinking like this is so expressive. Like
You can tell it out. I don't know. I did just get some out of the fridge, so it may not be.
Yeah. I'm like here.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
This is very rich. Very
yeah,
expressive.
maybe. Okay. All right. So you're saying that's medium plus?
Yeah. like high end of medium plus. Like
Oh, I don't know that I would say that. Okay, I'm
Like-
interested in other people's
I'm not
experience.
smelling it here. I don't know. How are other people feeling about this? Like, is just mine so much more expressive than everybody else's? Or
I got one glass that's been sitting out that got ignored, and one glass that's ultra cold, and they're dramatically different.
There you go.
so, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I would not call this
Thanks,
shy at all.
Joe. All right, great. Cool. So we'll compromise on medium plus, medium plus.
Call it medium plus intense aromas. What do you got?
Okay, this one I definitely am detecting like some sort of like honeysuckle or honey for sure. Something
For sure, yeah. There's a touch of little like, you know,
like
sweet
white
flower.
flower, like some sort of blossom.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Very pretty.
In terms of green fruit, maybe like a yellow apple.
Yeah. Again, like
Maybe some quince too. Like I don't
yeah,
know.
I was gonna say quince, and I know some of you don't know what quince is, but like yeah, quince. Some of that like really fragrant like pear, like bosque pear.
Yeah.
As well.
Like,
but yeah, definitely get some green fruit here as well. Citrus.
I'd say, well, lemon, of course. But I'm wondering if it's more like a Meyer lemon. Like I'm definitely, it's like it's sweeter smelling to me.
Yeah.
Than it is like sharp or acidic.
Yeah. To me, this is like orange blossom.
Yeah, orange blossom.
Lemon, all of that, like all over it. So yeah, Meyer lemon makes complete sense. Yeah, that kind of like a
Dish
right
lemon. Wow.
Yeah.
But in terms of stone fruit, I mean, I would, if somebody said they got nectarine, I would believe them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some very
Or
like
an apricot.
floral,
Yeah.
thing. I could same. I could be
Yeah, cooked
convinced that there's
apricot,
some,
like a sweet.
yeah, I could be convinced that there's some stone fruit here. To me, this is more like that floral, orange blossom, like I say, quince, lemon, all that.
Yeah.
Any
So tropical, not for me. No
Me neither.
red, no black, no dried.
Right.
Cooked. Well, the cooked. What I was just saying, like for the apricot, like a sweet, like when you make an apricot tart, like that's sort of like the apricot that I believe.
Okay.
But only because it's like a super intense, not because it's cooked. I don't know how.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. On the herbaceous front, I'm not really getting much.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything green here. Like the fruit quality here is like super fresh, super ripe, like very, very ripe. And all of the grapes for the fruit first thing was picked pretty early because he likes keeping his acid pretty high. The fact that he's able to get this much ripeness, even though he's picked early, just goes to show like what a great fucking place California is to grow fruit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure,
Just-
for sure. Yeah, very. I mean, it's like I'm a lot of smells in this. I'm for sure.
Yeah.
On the
Any
herbal front,
spice?
not so many. I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about the other. Like, are you getting any earth smells?
You guys tell me. You guys get any rockiness? You guys get any minerality?
You could tell me there was salt, and I would say yes, but I wasn't paying close attention to the map, so I don't know if I'm making that up. Is it
Yeah,
close
I mean,
enough to the coast there?
I mean, it's Mendocino and Sonoma, which is, yeah, it's not far. It's right along the coast. Yeah, there's maybe sea breeze, but there's also like, you know, I smelled a little bit of reduction when I first opened this wine, but that has kind of blown off. And then sometimes reduction can be, especially at a very low level reduction, like it can give off a lot of that kind of like, flinty, kind of even like smoky kind of a thing. But so I thought that was it earlier, but I think that was more reduction that has blown up. But I definitely get some of that kind of like ocean spray / like wet rocks, that kind of
Something,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
There's definitely some rockiness, minerality here for sure.
Okay, so now to the secondaries. Not so much any of these.
Yeah. There's really no lazy autolytic thing, no sign of MLF. This does go through full MLF. But yeah, no like smell
Nothing
sense
yet,
of
right?
it. Um, it's in some neutral oak, but it's all very neutral. There's no new oak on it, so none of that. So no secondary. Any tertiary?
No.
Yeah, me neither. This is very, very fresh, very primary. Everything is just kind of all in the fruit and the flower and all of that. Excellent, excellent. Good job. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
Cool. Joe K, why don't you do, since you have 2 glasses to taste from?
Also, why is it so dark in there, dude? You fucking creeper. You're muted.
I am supposed to be packing for a trip, and now I just kind of gave up. So,
All right, palette.
I'll go with my cold glass. This is dry.
Mhm.
Yeah, city's pretty nicely balanced. I call this like medium plus for this group. Calibration.
Agreed. I don't think it's like screaming, but feel good asset on it. I'll call this medium plus, like low end of medium plus is probably what I call this.
Nice.
No tannin, obviously. Alcohol?
Oh, medium.
Yeah, I'm thinking like
this is the one I'm never good with. I can't really tell.
12,
I'm gonna destroy
12
myself.
fives. Yeah, 12, 5 is what I'm thinking. I mean, it seems not that high. 11 and a half. All right. So we're talking about like high end of medium minus low end of medium is kind of what we're talking about here. So again, like this is the kind of stuff that California is doing now, right? Like 11.5% white blend, where we're used to like 14.5% Chardonnay that is like up the ass, right? Like now we're talking about something that is very steely, very pure, clean, at 11.5%, picked early for fresh and vibrancy and all of that. Yeah, like this kind of restraint is what I really appreciate about what Sam does at Idlewild. Yeah, 11.5%. So we're talking medium minus, high end of medium minus, low end of medium. Body.
This got some decent body for a white. I guess I'd kind of call this medium.
Agreed. It's built out some. That is one thing about Piedmont wines is that it doesn't build out particularly the white. It doesn't build out huge body, but the fact that he put this on the knees, put it on the neutral barrel, that is all for some of that texture, kind of like some of that weight. I agree. I'll call this a medium myself, like low end of medium, but yeah, I'll call this medium.
I love Piedmont reds, but I don't think I've really ever had Piedmont whites. So.
Oh, don't sleep on Piedmont white. Piedmont white is great. It's like
you're
really.
You're the one who biased us all against Italian whites, man. So.
Fair. I do a lot of shit on Italian whites, except for Piedmont whites and Friuli whites. So except for the 2 northern ends, and maybe some Grillo in Sicily, but even then, that's like
I mean, Piedmont is like north of like Avignon and all that, anyways, right? So
yeah.
So okay. Yeah. All right. Intensity.
Where are we? We did alcohol. We did body moves. Yeah, intensity.
I call this medium. Medium plus.
Yeah, I call this like it's not as aromatic as it was on the nose for me, but I would still call this like high end of medium, lower end of medium plus.
I think what you were saying earlier was kind of dead on. Like when I first opened it, it was just like pow, like a lot of minerality, a lot of fruit. I mean,
yeah.
It kind of has blown off pretty quickly.
Okay.
So it's definitely
yeah. I'll call this like a high, again, high end of medium, lower end of medium plus. I don't necessarily think this is shy at all. So I'm gonna call this lower end of medium plus as well. All right. Do you confirm all the things that Liz called out? Is there anything else that speaks out to you?
Yeah, the honeysuckle's good. I don't know what the fuck quince is. Sorry, I've never seen one. I don't know what that is.
I was at the Arboretum over the weekend, and I went to go look for the quince tree, but they didn't have any fruits yet. So next time when they bear fruit, I will steal one from.
I think it's made up like birds.
Yeah, I'll steal a government property just so that you can all smell what quince smells like.
But yeah, I think I don't disagree. I get a little bit of as it's opened up a little apricot, a little orchard kind of feel.
Yeah, I think that apricot is actually a good call. I was just kind of like, oh, maybe it's there and there, but on the palate, I think I get some of that apricot. Yeah, I mean, again, it could be a part suggestion, but I definitely get some apricot.
Again, it's one of those that's changed a lot in like the last 45 minutes, whatever.
So yeah, enjoy it over time.
Yeah, good stuff.
Anything else or anything that you disagree with what you smell on the nose that?
No, like I said, like a little bit of that, like that white pepper flintiness, I think is there. It's kind of blowing off, but
yeah, there's definitely a slight level of reduction on this wine. I mean, I smell it each time I pour a new glass. It blows up quite quickly, but there's a little bit of reduction. So, if you guys have quite a bit of wine still left, pour yourself a new glass and just smell it, or smell what's left in your glass right now, taste it, and then pour yourself a new one and then smell it again. There's probably I'm getting a little more like flinty, like smoky, that kind of like almost like reductive kind of a thing. Again, that's the stuff that makes like a lot of people who drink Chablis do think that is minerality, but it's also reduction. There's a lot of conversation right now that saying it's a reductive quality in Chablis that's what's making it come off so minerally. But there's definitely some of that. But even beyond that, there's definitely some rockiness here to this wine. Like, the minerality sticks out to me a lot more on the palate than it did on the nose. There's a little bit of that saltiness, that like little ocean spray, little salty tang, as well as the actual like a wet stone, some stoniness. So the fact that it has this much ripe fruit, but also has this level of minerality running through with this fruit, with the medium plus, like the searing acidity that it has, like it's good farming. It's basically what this speaks to. This wine, as I taste it, I'm like, whoever farmed this farmed incredible fruit, incredible quality fruit. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No, I wouldn't say so.
I don't think so either. Definitely all in the primary. Again, this has gone through a full mallow, but I don't really get any of these things necessarily. Wine's also not super sharp. Acid is there, but it's not like a sharp acid. So that's probably where the MLF comes in. Finish. How long is the finish?
With all that acid, it's definitely like I'd call it medium plus.
Yeah. Again, like I feel like everything on this wine is ending like right there, like high, medium, low, medium plus. But yeah, like just being generous, I'm gonna call this medium plus of myself as well. Conclusion. Take it home for us. How good is this wine? And would you age it?
I call this very good. I'm not a big fan of California wines in general and the whites, but this is, and the California wines you've had on Wine Club, I think this is one of the better ones personally. I like this a lot.
You mean out of the two so far?
I'm going back to the old school, man.
Yeah.
Going back to the actual 6 foot distancing.
Yeah. Gotcha. Agree. Balance,
I don't like, as far as California whites with like minerality and all that kind of going on, and I don't know. I personally haven't had a lot.
Yeah.
character.
I mean, again, this is the kind of wines what inspired me to put together this month's box, right? Like this is not what you would expect. Like you don't see, like when do you see an Italian Piedmont inspired white blend from, Mendocino vineyards? It's just not a thing that you see much at all. But it's not just some random, fringe project. Like this is like a legit, well-made, real wine, made by a real, well-talented winemaker. And things like this is happening all over California. And, like I said, the 8 varieties make up 93% of all vineyards planted in California.
You said something earlier that I thought was interesting. You're like, oh, this is unquestionably New World. How would you tell that? Because I think this is kind of ambiguous to me, but what do I know?
To me, it's the fruit quality. So to me, when I taste Old World, I taste more structure of the wine before I get to the fruit. To get to this level of ripeness of the wine, it's very hard to achieve this in Piedmont because it's too fucking cold. It's very, very cold over there. So the abundance, the generosity, the ripeness level of the fruit is what points me to New World. It's much warmer here than it is in Piedmont.
Longer, they have to pick it earlier.
Yeah. And that's why he picks it early, keeps it at 11% instead of letting this ripen and go wild. But yeah, to go back to the quality, 100% agree with the very good. I mean, we call kind of medium plus all along, right? Medium plus intensity, balanced. Complexity wise, we call that a bunch of stuff in primary. There's no secondary or tertiary, but we call that many things: a flower, green fruit, citrus fruit, minerality, some of the orchard fruit as well, a stone fruit. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. So maybe high, medium, low, medium plus, but all length, we call it medium plus as well. So all across the board, I think very good is the right call for this wine. That's what I would call it. Would you age this, Joe?
You could put like, how old is this now?
This is 2 years. I think this is 2022, 2023, 2022. So 2 years.
Like 3 or 4 more years on it with the acidity and some of the body, and but not much more. I don't know.
Agreed. I mean, it's got the good, we call it medium plus acid, so it's got decent backbone. It's not gonna fall apart. It's got a ton of generosity, right? A ton of concentration, intensity, right? We call it medium plus on the nose and medium plus on the palate. It already has some complexity, different things running through. So as this ages, it will only add more complexity. Having said that, I don't think this wine is like meant to be aged for a long time. I don't know if this is getting more delicious. I think the freshness, all this kind of pretty flowers on top of all this myriad of ripe fruits is what makes this really delicious on the backbone of that really strong acidity. So I don't think this wine is going to fall apart, but I think you can easily, comfortably enjoy this wine over next, like I said, 3 to 5 years, comfortably, no problem. It will probably start to see some tertiary stuff going into, somewhere between 5 and 8, but I don't know necessarily that will make it better. So I say drink this now, but you can drink this for up to the next 3 to 5 years. Any questions? Any disagreements? Any comments?
I got a question. You said it went through MLF, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of interesting the way it tastes very lemony, but without that sort of sharp citric acid. It's smooth.
Exactly.
It's acidic, but it's like kind of a soft acid, I would say. That's kind of cool.
That's it. See, this is cool that you're starting to like feel that difference of acidity. That's exactly what malolactic does. It's not that like sharp, like jab you in the mouth acid. It's still tart, but yeah, it's round. You're talking acid in terms of shape, and I cannot be prouder to hear you say that.
My wife tasted it, was like, it's everything I hate about coconut. And I don't really understand why, but she really did not like it.
She got coconut out of this thing.
Well, it's everything she doesn't like about coconut. So I think there's, I wonder if it's almost like a, more the kind of, she hates ripe melon and she does not like coconut. And I wonder if it's that kind of like when things ferment and they produce a little bit, you know what I mean? Like there's that kind of ripe something about ripe melon that she just can't.
Interesting.
Ripe bananas, she can't ripe bananas at all. So
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say I did the spanakopita pairing and it was great. Great
Yeah.
recommendation. Like, oh my gosh. And also the wine is so much better with it. Like
Yeah.
it definitely, so I don't know, something about that way you were just describing the acid, David. Like I wonder if it's like, I don't know, like the cheese, like also like the lactic acid, you know what I mean? Like that same side.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, when I taste this, like immediately I was like, I bet this would be great with feta. That's immediately where my mind went, like something like salty and sharp cheese like that. And
great.
then yeah, all the fruit and all that stuff. Great. Well, have Mallory try the little piece of cheese, Dave. Maybe she'll think different.
I will do so.
But yeah, I don't know how many of you are like Joe are familiar or not familiar with the Italian Piedmont white. But if you like that style of wine, which I do, like to me, if you're looking to drink more domestic, which is the big conversation that's happening in the States right now in the wine world, which is like we should be drinking more domestic, we should be drinking more US wines. US actually domestic producers are having a big hard time right now because the domestic wine demand has gone down quite a bit. Also export as well. But you know, wines like this, you know, like I would totally drink this. I was having this conversation with the rep today. It's like, you know, it's funny because if I were to take a cross section of all the wines that I consume in a year, I'm willing to bet that more than 90% of it is imported. And I rarely ever drink domestic wines, but you know, time to time I come across domestic wines. I'm like, oh, I should drink more domestic wines, and this is one of them. Like I love this wine, so there you go. I love all of their wine. I like his
why?
Why?
I mean, I also mostly prefer like imported wines, but why is there a general trend against it? And why is there this movement to do it? Is it like, oh, it's better for the environment if we buy local, or is it more like a buy American kind of local pride thing, or like what is
both? Yeah, environmental
about,
reasons. Yeah, environmental reasons as well as just, you know, going more local, like drink wines that are grown around you rather than, you know, trucking. Like there's definitely some hypocrisy in what the natural wine world is talking about, because like we talk so much about sustainability, environmental consciousness, and you know all of the things in farming and the making of the wine. Yet we don't really talk about like local consumption, right? We're like trucking these fucking bottles in from, or not even shipping these bottles in.
Well, shipping is the most environmentally friendly mode, so that part is the volumes. Great.
I read once that if you live east of Ohio, then it's actually more environmental to drink wine from Europe.
Yeah.
Shipping so efficient versus like
if you were in California.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
I do not know.
So I was at a restaurant that had like a it was like Amazonia, I think, that had like a $60 martini. And I was like, why is your martini so expensive? And the answer was, we flew in the gin, which I thought is the dumbest shit. Gin doesn't have to be flown in or fresh. Like there's no aging. Like I'm going to pay for your inefficient mode of transport of this gin. I was pissed. I have another question that though about something that you mentioned earlier. So you said that like 95% of all the grapes in California are the same 9.
Mm-hmm.
So the remaining percentage are types of grapes that can be grown is that like a set number, or are people still experimenting with what else can
Oh, no, no,
be,
no,
or
no.
is it like 95% is this 8 kind, and there's 16 and there's 15 others that could be grown, or they're
No,
still
no, no. You
experimenting?
you can grow whatever you want. They're
I know
not
you
gonna
can.
limit
I'm
you,
saying, like,
yeah.
what is that remaining percentage? Is it people experimenting a lot, or people like, are there only certain things that can go there? Like, are people self-limiting, I suppose? Or is the climate self-limiting where there's only so many that can go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not gonna put hugely like you're
Right, you're not
probably.
gonna put like a
I mean,
reason
no.
there, but like, how much is left to be like? How many things are really climate appropriate to put? How many varieties are they missing out on?
Well, the
Probably.
only thing is you have to go to every part. Like there's Santa Barbara where
Oh yeah, I guess California is so big.
Cambria, yeah, where
Yeah.
they're experimenting. They're planting things like Trousseau, like Jura varieties. Like we're talking alpine mountain varieties being planted into a coastal town. But it's always fucking cold there. Raja
Yeah.
Par was talking about this when he was on the call, and he was like, where I am, it's like it's always cold. It's like average temperature is like high 50s, low 60s. You remind me so much of Jura when I was there. I'm like, why aren't Jura varieties planted here? Things like that.
I would love some cheap local Jura. That would be my local.
And then once you get out to like Sierra Nevada foothills, there are a lot of abandoned vineyards or old vineyards that just have not been used. But people are rediscovering these kind of mission varieties and different things. So yeah, there's definitely experimentation, and there are different varieties still being planted. And then there's also some hybrid work that's happening as well in California. As the state gets warmer and warmer, people are like, we're not going to be able to plant the same shit, or at least grow it unless we grow something that's heat resistant.
Yeah.
So all that is
So
happening.
they really are a lot. It sounds like, by only choosing 9. Like there's a lot of
100%.
missed
100%.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that they made their money on those 8 varieties, and they continue to make their money on those 8 varieties, so they're not letting it go essentially. But in the end,
like California cost of living, they got to keep up, man.
yeah. So the expression becomes the California wine expression becomes very homogenous, right? There's not much of a diversification, so to speak. Yeah, and for the longest time, I couldn't blame them, because it's just like that's what made money, and then as a farmer, like I don't blame you for doing what makes your livelihood.
Yeah.
But there's now these younger guys who are coming in and saying, we don't have to grow just these 8 varieties in California. We can grow a lot of different things that can do, and they will make delicious, beautiful wines. Like this is being an example, right? Like who would have thought you can make 11.5% Piedmont inspired white varieties from California? But this guy's doing it. So there you go.
What is it? What is it that drives the market primarily? Like we can sit on this call and say, "Oh, this is delicious. Let's order more of this," but we're not going to affect what people choose to California. Is it like Costco? Is it fine restaurants? Like what is it that changes? Like what is it that actually kind of drives what producers in California create?
It's the under $10 market. It is what drives the entire wine, the under $10 bottles, and in that sector, the grocery shelf lines, it is, I mean, like you go to Safeway, it is, 19 crimes. It's the Cabernet, it's the Zed, it's the Syrah, Petit Syrah, all of that. That's
so not even like a decent wine store. It's your Safeways. It's your
100%. That's what drives.
Like actually, Costco has not a terrible wine selection compared to. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That is the sector that people buy the most amount, consume the most amount, under $10 in America, at least.
I mean, you totally ruined that for me. I cannot buy such wines anymore.
You're welcome.
I know. I drink less at work events now because I'm like, well, I don't want to have this shit.
Oh no, exactly. I go to these functions. It's like, oh my God, why are you serving this swill? But I can't say anything.
I know. I have so many more sparkling waters. I'm like, all right, the good times are over.
Again, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Cool. How many of you guys like this wine? Did anybody not like this one? Just out of curiosity.
70%.
Okay. Too ripe? What? Too much fruit?
I think I need to try it with some cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would be really delicious with something.
Yeah. I mean, this is again his whole philosophy behind his wine is to make it really food friendly and it belongs on the dinner table. So yeah, I mean, this is in general, I say this all the time. If you don't like the wine, try it with food because it changes the wine, the experience completely. But particularly Sam's wine, Idlewild wines are very, very food friendly. So
One thing
try it with
I will
some food.
say is that I opened this at 6 so I could have a little bit with dinner because I was having like a feta filled salad
Mhm.
and it was good. And I was like, great, this is a fine wine. It tastes really good with the cheese.
Yeah.
Good. But then 3 hours later, when I poured a second glass, I liked it so much more.
Mm.
And I wonder if just I wouldn't have liked having drunk it. I wouldn't have been like, oh, it needs to breathe or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It just tastes a lot more full and complex and interesting 3 hours later than it did when I opened it.
There you go. Decant your wine, maybe.
Mhm.
You know.
I don't know.
I mean, these are all the good things to do when the wine is not hitting right, which is try it with some food and then to decant it, get some air into it, and then see how it goes, see how it changes for you. All right, let's play this game. How much do you think this wine is in a retail store? How much would you be happy paying for this in a retail store? Mm-mm-mm. 28, 32, 28, 25, 25, 28, 28, 28, 24. Man, you guys are good. This wine in a retail store would be 28.50. So 28 bucks. I think it's fantastic for $28 sub 30 wine. I'll drink this any day. I'll pick this up on a way to a dinner party any day. Yeah. So there it is. There it is, folks. Any questions?
On the same note that Sada was asking about this trend of these people trying to bring new grapes in, like, what's your observation? Is it working?
I mean, that's the thing about wine is that it takes so long before you can figure out whether you made the right experiment, like you're if it's working or not, right? Like you plant a new vine, it's 3 years before, 2 to 3 years before you even get a harvest, and then it's like 5 years before you get quality enough wine, or you grow quality enough grapes to really make good wine. So you're already 5 years in to really test to see if that place works. You know, so it's like you can experiment, but it's not like immediate thing.
And you're up against Goliath, basically.
And you're up against Goliath, exactly. People who are throwing in millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Right?
I mean, remember, I'm a McCrosty. I'm a McCrosty bish. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the hard part. Is that you know, even if let's say you get a plot of land out in Sierra Nevada, in some beautiful site. All right, so you got the land. Now you have to plant something. Which one are you going to plant? So let's say you settle on 3 different varieties, and you have to wait 5 years before you decide that it's worth keeping going or not, right? And if you happen to strike okay with 1, maybe 2, great. But you know, even then, what you're gonna have to pull out this entire 3rd one and replant and wait another 5 years before you got to figure out whether that's working. And even then, constant iteration of, getting better and figuring out. Now you have to talk about what is a right winemaking technique for the grape that's coming from this place, right? To get it to the final thing. So it takes a long time for wines to really, or vineyards to really establish themselves and winemakers to get really comfortable with it. So that's why, like, when I see like young winemakers that are in their, fifth, sixth year, I mean, oftentimes they're buying grapes, but if they're working with their own estate fruit on their fifth and sixth year, and then wine is good, I'm like, fuck yeah, that is awesome. Like, you've hit the jackpot. Like, you've figured it out. It's only going to get better from here. Like, invest, your energy into it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of experimentation that's still happening, but I'm just happy to see, again, movement away from those 8 varieties. It's been overplayed. That's what you see everywhere. So let's drink something different, because California is capable of making something that's different. Any other questions? Just out of curiosity, how often do you guys drink California wines, or just US wines in general?
Never, almost never.
Since
Almost
I
never.
started joining your club, all I drink is the wines that you share with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Same.
But
Okay.
like, even my other wine club is Grand Cata. It's only 2 a month. I'm not insane. And those
Yeah.
obviously, since they're Grand Cata, they're always foreign. And then when I'm at a restaurant or something, I'm gonna pick a region I know, and I do not like Finger Lakes month. So yeah.
I mean,
Almost
Willamette
never.
Valley Pinot Noir is always going to get me. So
Yeah. Yeah, and admittedly so, I also do not drink much California wine at all, much US wine at all, honestly. But I don't know. Sometimes I wonder why I do not, because I come across some wines. I should drink more of this, but I just don't.
Okay, for the oldies, do you remember when we did Anthill for one of our AP
Yes.
months? Like, I had my bottle that I bought that, I don't know, you were able to get like some special disbursement,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was like joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
It's so good.
It's
It's
so
so
good.
good.
Like,
It's so good.
And I just, oh my God, I was just like, thank God I have this in my life. You know what I mean? It was just
Mhm.
Have you guys had the
cool.
new vintage? For some reason, I don't know why. And
No.
my rep and I are going back and forth. I'm giving him shit about it. He's profusely apologizing as well. But I didn't get my 23 allocation, Hill allocation. And he's like, I sent out the email. I'm like, I never got it, Charles. What the fuck? And he's like, I don't know why you didn't get it. Like, I sent it out. Anyways, so I didn't get it. And by the time I learned and I tried to go back, it was already so
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I
It's
mean
on
that.
23.
Well, if you
However-
hear of them again, please let me know.
Yeah.
Because
We'll have it
God,
again.
I fucking love
later.
them.
Yeah,
Me
but
too.
I don't know if you guys have tried the new vintage. So Jacob bought a bottle from some store, and I was
Oh,
over at
really?
his place. And we popped it open, but there was so much new oak on it. I was like, what happened here? Like, it is like a completely different wine. So
They got
No.
industrialized or something?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just that particular year they were just experimenting with more oak, or they got a different kind of barrels in, but it was like a noticeably more new oak than I ever remember Hill putting on. I mean, Hill
That's
always had that touch of
sad.
oak, but this one had like so much. I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
So I was kind of glad that I didn't get I missed out on the 23 allocation.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
came up
see.
once.
We'll
with
see
that.
if the next one that comes out is like that. So see.
I guess I
They-
should mention Ashanta wines, which you featured 1 month. Ashanta.
Which one?
Ashanta.
Oh,
Ashanta,
Ashanta.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Which is-
also a good one.
They were so delicious. They would mix them with fruit and all sorts of stuff. And I continue to order stuff from them every once in a while. And
Yeah.
day wines are fantastic.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I order some of those.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
all
I
good.
mean, pink salt changed my life. Like, I've I like.
Big love for me.
I
Big love
walked
for
out
me.
of a store with my arms full
Yeah.
of them, and I was like, you've never seen a happier Liz. Like, I was like, I have so much fun. What is about to happen for my life because I just the lines. Like, it's the best.
Love it.
Yeah. No, day wines are great. Day wine, yeah. I mean, but that's not California, is it? That's Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah, Oregon. But just domestic in just yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, just clarify.
Ashanta's California, right? And Day One's is Oregon.
Ashanti is California. That's Sonoma. Yeah. Ashanti is Sonoma. Day One is Willamette Valley. I just taste some
I think I missed
new.
that month. I don't remember either of those.
We didn't
Ashanti
do
or
pink
Day Ones.
salt. We didn't do pink salt. Salt, like the original.
Big salt.
Right? Big.
Yeah.
What is it?
Big
Oh
salt.
no,
Big
Old
salt.
Love and Big Salt and stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff like
Oval and Big Salt. Yeah.
I thought we did Big Love.
Big
And
Love red.
Are you talking about
Are we
Brock?
talking about the Ovum? No, not Brock. By the way, Brock has cans now.
Yeah.
Does not surprise.
But I bought a can and it was like $16, and I was like, "This is tough for me."
Yeah, and Foxtrot,
This is tough.
right? Which
Yeah.
is now out of
And you know,
business.
when we did the Virginia, we did or was it Virginia? The Piquette that we did
Yeah.
in the cans. That was pretty delicious too.
Old
Yeah.
Westminster. Yeah.
Old
I mean,
Messers.
I love
the
that.
Brock can was delicious. It was just hard to buy a can. Like, and it
For
wasn't even a
16
tall boy. It was a 12-ounce can
Yeah.
for $16. Like that was tough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just psychologically difficult.
For anyone.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was thinking of it. What's the name of them? Ovum or something? It's Oregon, and they have a salt and a love and a.
Oh, am
something
I
else.
mixing them up? Sorry, maybe I mixed them up. It might be
Maybe
me.
so. But we
Ovum
have
is the-
anyway. Those ones
Ovum
are
is
so
the
good.
maker, right? And there's like Big Salt and Old
Mhm.
Love.
Yeah, that's the one. I love
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
That one's so
Oval-
good.
Always. a
Okay,
big
so
fan
then
of
what one were you talking about then, Dave? Because that's the one that I thought that you were talking about. Sorry, it's my fault.
There's Day Wines, which is like Dazzles of Light or something like that. and
Yeah,
I-
the Brienne.
Oh, those are also great.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember that
and
one.
There's Ovum, which is the big
I love
big
that
Big
one.
and pink salt. Yeah, that was one. Okay, all right. Day, I thought Day was that one, but it's over.
Yeah. Day Wines is the one the Kirsten Lane lovely called it the titty wines. It's the one with the lady that was like the line.
one of their wines.
Yeah. Delicious titty wines.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tasted their new white vintage that just came out, and I'm not a huge Muscat fan. I don't know if you guys are, but like there's so much higher Muscat percentage in there. I'm like, oh my God, this is so aromatic. It's almost like, I don't know, Muscat is very, very, reminds me so much of like potpourri. And I was like, it's too much.
Huh.
Maybe some people like it, but it's just not my thing.
Day Wines or Ovum or
Day Wines, yeah, Day Wine, the Day White, the Day Blanc. They just came out with a new blend for the vintage, the 23 vintage. And then they just, I mean, the recipe changes every year because it depends on what fruit that she gets. But this year she just said, last year it was only like 3-4% Muscat. This year she put in 15% Muscat, so it's quite a bit of a jump. So it was just like, whoa, like I don't remember this wine being this aromatic, but yeah.
Yeah, some of the day wines are very different. Like they're very. Every time I taste them, I'm like, this is very unique. And sometimes maybe that works, and sometimes maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. Very good though. I'm a huge fan of her as a winemaker. Like her wines as a general kind of like a common thread that runs through her wines. Like they're all fucking great. Yeah. But all right. Yeah, I actually forget that I've featured California wines quite a bit, and there have been a few of those most popular ones that we've sold that were California wines. Like
Really,
Brock,
like what?
Brock, Love Red. Sold a shit ton of that. You guys bought a lot of that wine.
That was good.
Kirsten's dad used to order like a case every 2 months from me for like 2 years straight.
Of that Brock?
Brock Love Red.
God, I hated that.
Wow.
I hated that one. That was like
Yeah.
it's, of all the ones I remember that I hated, and I don't like that one. Is like stands out.
Oh, the one
I
that I
remember
remember
the
that I-
first. I remember where I was sitting when I first took the sip.
It was that bad, huh? That
Yeah.
dramatic.
the one that I remember that I hated was a Mind Klong, I don't know, pet nat or some kind of sparkling.
We've had a few though. Which one? The
It was
pen?
it was before the divorce,
Yeah.
and I emailed you and I think my bottle's like
It's probably
Junk.
the foam volcan, the like the
Yeah,
orangey,
yeah, that
like a
sounds right.
neon orange. Yeah.
yes.
It has a shit ton of VA on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you wrote back and you're like, this is a great time to talk about different palettes, and you like wrote me this whole lovely explanation, and I was like, okay, well I just poured it out because it tasted like vinegar. Now I know what VA is,
Yeah.
and that you and I have different taste buds.
Yeah. See, it's all part of the experience.
Yeah, now I understand. But yeah, I just thought it had gone bad because it was like so high in VA.
I tasted a wine today. It's my rep who made the wine. So he bought some grapes in Virginia, and then he made them himself with two other friends. They're quite good, and it's a cool project he's doing. It's basically the way he talked about it is we've been asking wrong questions in Virginia, which is how do we take these vinifera varieties and then turn them into the wines that we know of and we like, and how do we make that happen in Virginia? And that has been the question that, as a wine industry has been asking in Virginia. But what they're trying to ask is that maybe instead of figuring out what it is that we like and trying to make it happen in Virginia, why don't we figure out what grows well in Virginia, then try to make the best wines that we possibly can with that, so what varieties, what grapes grow there very well. And he quickly came to a conclusion that hybrids just do better than vinifera. So his whole project is just hybrid wines from Virginia, none of the vinifera. The one that I tasted today, white, was quite good. It's actually, even for a vinifera trained palate, I was like, dude, this can totally pass. This is delicious, well made, good job. The red, on the other hand, was like the most fucking crazy wine I've tasted in a long time. It's like it's made out of this grape variety called muscadine. It's apparently a native grape variety to North America that grows in the southeastern part of US, going all the way from like Florida, going all the way to Houston, and just kind of like Virginia is like northern tip of it, and it loves heat, loves humidity, which makes sense for the US South. So he made wine with this, and it's like, if you can imagine like tomato paste with like cranberry juice with just like ripping acidity with like a spicy like peppers on it. Like it was wild. Like I've never tasted anything like it. And he's like, I know, like for a lot of people who are trained, if your palate, which is most people, your palate's trained in vinifera, this is going to be probably very weird for them. And I was like, I can't tell you whether this is delicious or not. Like I have no reference point for wines like this. But like I've been meaning to put together like a hybrid box just to exactly talk about what he's talking about, which is that should we be forcing vinifera onto the land and trying to create the wine that we like, or should we just let the grapes that grow well here or designed to grow well here and then try to make the best wine we can with it? And I was like, I think this wine will be perfect for that box if we get to it. But God damn it, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people with this wine by putting it in the box because it was so weird. Like it was so fucking weird. Like I can see how some people would be like. I don't know if I would call it delicious. It was just like so much more of like intellectual curiosity than anything else. It was like such a weird experience. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this wine club wants.
Yeah, I know. I was
And
like,
you're gonna put us through Georgia, which I'm so excited about. But like, I am like, it's so hard to get people to want to drink Georgian wine.
yeah, I'm
That
probably
one itself, people are like, what's
probably gonna piss off some people's palates with the Georgia wine. I'm not gonna lie.
So
Georgia
you
can
gotta
be
wait
hard
at
to get
least
into.
6 months before you do another crazy one.
Yeah, Georgia's a hard one. Can be hard. So I think
I'm
gonna
excited.
try to.
I think it's worth it. and by now we're gonna have lots of good stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try ease people into the kind of like the easy entry point into the some like really fucking like rip your gum out tannic orange wines. Like you will see what tannin is like when you get to
my
this thing.
favorite. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, for the journey. Okay, so to recap,
Anyway, hold on, sorry.
Thanksgiving wines, which will have like the range of the courses of the Thanksgiving, just like every year before, right?
Yeah.
A bubbly month, and then Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. It
Yeah.
may change, but probably not. So yeah, that's.
Are there any reds on Case Club that you that are like cost effective and good right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Let me see what's on there.
Because I realized, so one of the things that I've realized is that like I'm so hot all the fucking time that I'm drinking only white wine, and
Yeah.
now I'm like out of like casual reds.
Oh, did you? I mean, only red that I have on Case Club right now is that Ica Tinto, the red wine that we had in the box. I don't know if you like that.
All right, maybe I'll try it. Okay,
It's
I'll
good.
try it.
I like that wine a lot. I don't know if Dave or Allison, you guys remember.
Did you guys like it? I can't remember what Dad said.
I drank last night Lusty Little Crushes to help me get through the debate. And that was delicious because it's like a red that you can chill a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was lovely.
So Woong, are you gonna do the blast from the past toward the end of the year?
Yeah.
When we don't have to, you just give us all of them.
Yeah, it's toward the end. Well, for me, I have to like complete my box to make my shipping effective. So I've gotta buy 2 every time.
I'll do that Ica. I think that Ica is really delicious and it's really, really good pricing.
All right, okay. Then maybe I'll just send you a note right now. 2 Icas for Liz to add on.
Okay.
Yeah, the Zecolina white was pretty pricey actually. Like $36 a bottle, something like that.
You mean the French Basque?
What was it? The
Yeah, French Basque is not cheap.
The Rilugui was quite expensive.
Yeah,
Right?
Irulagi is expensive.
Yeah. But then you had the Rosado, which I got a case of because that was like $15 a bottle. That was pretty reasonable. I'm hoping that'll be delicious.
No, Rosado is delicious. Rosado is great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I like all of their wines. So all of the Ica wines I really like. So yeah.
And I really like that sparkling. What was it? The Zecolina sparkling was like so light and refreshing. So I got some of that.
Even the Reventus. Yeah. You should get a couple of the Magnums. Pick up those Magnums.
I saw that too. I was like, the problem is my wife will not drink sparkling wine, so it's like a solo project, and
What? That's a lot.
Why doesn't Mallory drink sparkling?
She doesn't drink anything with bubbles. Soda, not like carbonated water, nothing.
I can't even begin to understand this.
Yeah.
No, it tickles her tongue, and she's like, I don't know. She just never did. Yeah. So it's all me.
This is offensive to Allison.
I'm so offended. I love it. I like it when it
I
hurts.
love sparkling. Like,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I've ordered a lot of sparkling over
I do now have the special top so that like you can hold it till the next day.
Yeah.
After like I jammed the cork back in once and then I pulled it out and it popped and I was like, oh my, this is how people lose eyes. So I gotta get the proper top.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Marty.
Yeah. I think about Marty.
Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Great to see you guys. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Boone, I didn't get the email about the around the world thingy in Brooklyn.
Because you're not in Brooklyn.
Oh, you only sent it to the Brooklyn people?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Then I'm not offended.
But to tell the truth, it's very few people have responded. So now I'm thinking maybe I should send that to like different neighborhoods to see if other
yeah.
people are available to do so.
I mean, we
'cause
would totally do it, but I'm assuming you don't have that many people in Tacoma Park.
no.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I would love to do a party here, but I think Kevin
Yeah.
has to get through grad school first,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No, do your thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, well, then never mind. I thought you sent it to like everyone to schedule it, but now I understand
No,
you're trying.
yeah, it was only the
first.
group. I thought that neighborhood made most amount of sense, but maybe it doesn't again because everybody has kids and you know the
It does make it more
smaller.
complicated. Yeah,
so, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this it's not a feasible idea, but I thought it would be kind of cool.
It's a nice idea.
All right.
All right,
Have a nice
good
night.
night.